problem. Then you understand more clearly what they need and how you can solve. And then after that, 3 processes, then you can get some ideas. And other part of this, you can read it, and also you can read a summary note. For example, ba is a Japanese word. What it means, it's a context sharing time and space for knowledge creation. Here, for each process, there is ba. Originating ba, dialoguing ba, systemizing ba, and exercising ba. No, for each process, you share the knowledge, and you share the time and space with other members for knowledge sharing. That is a special kind of, context sharing. That's the Japanese word. And every time you go through each process, you go through with other members. And this middle up-down management, let me explain on Thursday when I explain about the Japanese corporate system. And related to this second model, I want to introduce design thinking by Tim Brown, or one company called IDEO. That's an American company. They have special kind of process, 5 steps for creating the new idea for new product or services. What are those 5 steps? First, empathize. It is almost the same as socialization. You try to understand users' feeling, people's feeling, what they need. That is empathizing, equivalent to the socializing. Then define, get the idea, clear idea of the problem of the users. Again, it is like externalization of the Seki model. You discuss with your group members and define what you want to solve, what you want to find out. Then you try to ideate for the problem solving. This ideate process is like a combine in the Seki model. You share the ideas, combine them, and try to get the new solution. Then after you get the ideas, make a prototype so that the customers can try those products. It is also similar to lean startups, minimum viable products. And in lean startup, after having MVP, send it to the market and test. So this part, emphasizing, define, ideate, this part is like a Seki model. This part, prototype and test, it's like a lean startup. And many concepts in the strategic management looks different, but similar. Sometimes it is several concepts are combined. So you can remember that. That is design thinking. And one more case of the Seki model, socialization, especially the socialization. This time it is a case of 7-Eleven. Do you know 7-Eleven? In Laos, there is no 7-Eleven, but in Thailand there is there is a 7-Eleven. It's like a mini Big C. And in Japan, we also have 7-Eleven. And 7-Eleven in Japan, of course, they sell various kind of products. And what kind of product is sold? Usually, this kind of the stores, they decide using the database, big data, like a post of sales system. No, every time they sell the product, no, they scan the barcode and immediately, no, store the information what kind of products are sold. And other stores, similar stores, decide the order of the new products based on this data. 7-Eleven, they have a special kind of system. They have post of sales system and store the information, what kind of products were sold. At the same time, they also use the experiences of the people working at the store, because not all the stores are in the area where people's characteristics are the same, or even sometimes in the special regions, they have a special occasion. Sometimes they have a festival and so on. So not only using this data, they ask the employees, staff of the shop to get the information of the regions, including some events, weather forecast, and so on, and decide what should be ordered. For example, if there is an event on the next day, they will order some lunchbox or sandwiches more because people come and buy and go to the event. If they get the information the next day, it will be a very hot day, they order the mineral water or drink more. Or if it's rainy day, some hot drinks. So again, not only using these data, these staff, they socialize themselves with the people in the regions where stores are and decide what should be ordered. This kind of system of 7-Eleven is called hypothesis verification order. Hypothesis, no, staffs make hypothesis. What kind of product will be sold more tomorrow or day after tomorrow? They make a hypothesis, and after the sales, they verify if their hypothesis was correct or not. And then based on this experience, they will improve their system so that it can be more accurate in the future. And sometimes these people, like operation field counselor from the headquarters, come to the store and help them. And with this kind of system, 7-Eleven in Japan has more average daily sales than other similar stores. So this kind of experiences by the human being exceed big data system. This is 7-Eleven's hypothesis verification order, and that is also based on socialization process of the regions. And now, after nurturing the technical, yes, you have a question?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Tipaivon.
Please back to the last minute, the last period that you explained. I would like to know
yes.
POS stands for?
POS stands for point of sales. Point. P-O-I-N-T.
Yes.
Point. Point of
sale.
Of sales. Yes.
Yeah.
Because why it is called point of sale system? When they sell the products at the point of the sales, they store the information, what kind of products are sold, what time, and also here this button, here, this side, it's difficult to see, but it's blue. This side, it's pink. And here, there is numbers, 20s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all over. That means when somebody buy the products, the shop staff, they press one of these buttons based on what kind of people bought that product. You guess, maybe this person, man, he's young, maybe in his 20s, then press the button, blue button, and 20s. When you see the person, women, maybe in her 30s, age like around 35, then press the pink button of the 30s. So at the point of the sales, not only getting the information, what kind of products are sold, on what day, at what time, but also they also include the information, what kind of people bought that products, age, and man or female, such kind of information. And then they will also use these information to make a plan for ordering what kind of products should be ordered, something like this. Is it clear? Yes. So that is why it is said point of sale.
Professor, may I ask
yes, Mr. Intapada?
About 7-Eleven?
Yes.
The founder or the original of the 7-Eleven is from USA or not?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes, originally 7-Eleven is from US.
And it is a franchise business?
It's a franchise business.
Oh, and Japanese have to buy the franchise from USA, right?
Yes, it started in US. Japanese company became the franchise of the US company. Then later, because Japanese 7-Eleven was really good, make a good business, became bigger than the original 7-Eleven in US. So they acquired US company. Now US 7-Eleven is under Japanese company.
Oh, okay. And the other country that's for example Thailand, the 7-Eleven Thailand that have to franchise from Japan.
7-Eleven in Thailand originally became the franchise of the Japanese 7-Eleven. In Thailand, do you know CP Group?
Yes. CP had the owner.
Yes. Oh, you know the owner of CP Group. Okay, the CP Group is the company operating 7-Eleven in Thailand.
Under franchise from Japan?
They got a license from Japanese companies, but they operate by themselves.
Oh, okay.
It's not like it's not under the Japanese company anymore. They got the license from the Japanese company.
They have to share for the profit to the owner license.
Just for the license.
Oh, just for the license, not sharing the profit, not
the profit, but just pay for the license lawyer.
Only one time.
I don't know in detail about their contract, but now because the system of the 7-Eleven in Japan and system of 7-Eleven in Thailand is slightly different. Not in each country, for example, 7-Eleven in Thailand, they can decide what kind of system they are going to use. Of course, they learn from the Japanese 7-Eleven. So they will use a similar system, but not exactly the same. They modified based on the needs of the customers in Thailand.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, in the future, if your company want to, operate the 7-Eleven in Laos, maybe either you can discuss with CP Group in Thailand or 7-Eleven Holdings, Seven & I Holdings in Japan. Okay, so that is 7-Eleven. Okay, and now let me explain about the rest of the materials. Now you nurture the core technologies and you establish the realize as a product, and now you have to establish the supply system. It's like, in another words, it's back-end technology, supply system, how to produce it and how to distribute it to the customers. You remember Hidakaya's central kitchen system? Now, when I talk about co-opetition, I showed the example of Hidakaya, and I explained Hidakaya introduced central kitchen system because they have many restaurants, but in each restaurant, they don't cook separately. They have a central kitchen, and that central kitchen half-cooked and half-cooked food are sent to each restaurant, and they finish the cooking and serve. And by having such kind of system, they can lower the cost. That is one of the back-end technology for supply system. And back-end technologies, again, if you outsource that part, it gets weak. It cannot be the source of competitiveness. It is like when I explain about the business system, I compared the business system of Hitachi toaster and Bermuda toasters. No, Bermuda, they don't produce themselves. They outsource the production. In that case, production part, Bermuda cannot accumulate the experiences and knowledge on the production part, and it cannot be the source of competitiveness. So again, if you emphasize this back-end technology and if you want to make it as a source of competitiveness, you have to operate yourself. And when we think about the operation, the whole processes of the companies, one of the very famous framework is Porter's value chain framework. Maybe you heard about this word, value chain. It's very famous. Value chain, then maybe you know the word supply chain. Then what is the difference between supply chain and value chain? Basically, it is similar, but value chain, what Porter emphasized is, here, there's several processes, different processes within the company, and sometimes you are connected with different company, like a supplier of the material and also buyers and intermediators who can sell your products to others. And the connection, at the connection of each process, if it's just connected, we just call it supply chain. But if you try to create more value between the processes, it is called value chain. So value chain and supply chain is not exactly the same. Value chain, you emphasize more between the processes and how to create value or how to create the profit from the operation connecting different processes. That is the value chain. So the value chain is more advanced type of the supply chain. Okay? And that is Michael Porter's value chain. And this more detailed because Michael Porter's value chain, this is exactly the diagram which is shown in his book, but it's very simple, not complicated. So maybe it's a little bit difficult for you to think about your company based on this framework. So I just made myself more, try to include more processes in the value chain, and also try to show suppliers and also buyers and some other related organizations. So when you think about the value chain of your company or businesses or organization, think of the processes here. If you have these processes and try to connect more effectively if those are involved in the case of your business. That is just to make more complicated, to try to include more aspects than the Porter's value chain. I got one question in the chat from Mr. Tom Pote. If there is back-end technology, how about the front end? Interesting questions. Okay. But why I use the word back-end technologies? Because, for example, central kitchen system, that is something to back up the businesses. Without this system, they cannot provide the food. In the case of Hidakaya, then the question from Mr. Tompo was if there's anything like a front end. Front end, maybe that is something between your company or restaurant or shop and buyers. What exists between customers and your shop or company? Maybe sometimes some intermediaries, buyers who can sell to the customers, or if you produce something and if you don't sell by yourself, shop is between your company and customers. In that case, maybe organization, company between your company and customers are a kind of front end technologies, front end, not back end. And that's very interesting. Usually we don't use that word in the business, but maybe you can create that word, front end. But in business, there is a word about the linkage. For example, what was that one? I forgot. There is a linkage in the front side and the backward linkage and forward linkage. It's like a forward linkage. It is not called front end, but forward linkage, not backward linkage. Did I answer your question, Mr. Tompot? Mr. Tompot, did I answer your question?
Yes. I want to know like the IT we have the two side. The front end we have like a application. For the front end is a programmer. For the IT we understand like that. I am not sure for you and they explain like that or not.
So
I think it's the same.
So in the software industry, programmers are called front end.
Black end. In program application is a front end. in the programmer.
Programmers
write
are
the code.
backend.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Programmer as a backend because they are in the back behind, make a program and provide. And you said application is a front end. Yeah, because application is a kind of product, right? So products will be sent to the customer directly. So I think that is why in the software industries, application is called front end. It's like a product. But usually in other industries, we don't call the product the front end.
Yeah, I compare, I understand like that.
Yes, but
Can
it's
you
very,
share to your...
yes, very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that information. And one more, talking about the production process and backend technologies. I'm not sure if you heard about Kaizen. No, Kaizen is the improvement of, for example, the production process. And by American consultants, they when they made the research about the Kaizen activities, quality control and productivity improvement activities, their conclusion is it's like a time-based management, time-based competition. So the time to shorten the time, this kind of activities is very useful. And talking about Kaizen, there are some kind of activities, it's called 5S. If you want to, this time I don't explain in detail about this 5S, but if you want to know more about 5S, I think LJI can provide another opportunity so that you can understand what the 5S and Kaizen is. Okay, so that was the value chain. And talking about the value chain again, the most famous process and production process is Toyota Production System. Toyota Production System is also a kind of backend technologies because behind the production of the car, they have the huge system for the production. This system not only involving the staff of Toyota itself, but also involve many other companies, including small and medium enterprises. They are the suppliers of the Toyota cars, suppliers of this kind of components, and many others inside this car. Usually the car with gasoline engine have about 30,000 components. So you can see so many suppliers of the components are involved. And with these SMEs, small and medium enterprises, suppliers are also combined in their system, and Toyota also support these suppliers sometimes for the technological development and so on. And this is just a photo of the seminars, technological seminars by Toyota, organized by Toyota for suppliers. They are not the Toyota staff. They are from other companies, but suppliers of Toyota car. It's called Kyohokai Association. Again, Toyota's backend technologies involve many suppliers. And this shows more in detail about this system. For example, Toyota Production System. Usually suppliers, you consider just provide components, and then it is used in the production. This is the basic of the production system with suppliers. But in the case of Toyota, more, because suppliers are also involved in the development process of the new model of the car. how they are involved. Do you remember what ODM, which I talked yesterday? OEM and ODM. OEM, original equipment manufacturing. ODM, original design manufacturing. Some suppliers, because their technology level is very high, they can also design the components. Usually Toyota provides the design of the components to suppliers, and suppliers produce based on that design. But some good suppliers, they design themselves and suggest Toyota. Well, maybe in your new model, this kind of components can be used. So in that case, they are involved in even the design process of the new model. So suppliers, they are involved in the production itself. And this kind of production system, just in time, send the necessary components at the right time, at the right volume. And also they are involved in the fine-tuned parts development for the new model development. So this is a characteristic of the backend technology production system, especially by Toyota and many other famous manufacturing companies. And this kind of relationship of the large manufacturers and suppliers, it is the typical in Japan. It is called organized market. Why it is called organized market? They are the external companies. They are not inside Toyota. So their transaction is based on the market, but this market, they have a long relationship. That is why it's called organized market. And this organized market is one typical case of the Japanese production system. And this is the last slide of this material. Today, first, I talked about the importance of identifying core technologies. No, you cannot just diversify the business to any areas. Think about what is core of your companies, considering your past experiences, and identify core technology. If you don't have, you need to nurture the potential core technologies. And how you can nurture potential technologies, now combine with new technologies with what you already have, and like Murata Manufacturing, gradually improve, step up the levels. It is called diagonal jump. Then after you nurture the technologies, then that is the time to realize as products. And for realizing the actual products, it is similar to the process of lean startup with minimum viable products, interact with the market to adjust and improve with minimum viable products. That is important. And after you realize the products which is accepted by the market, then you need to build a system to supply, to produce it, and to distribute it, the supply system. And what is necessary? Back-end technologies for the production, and sometimes back-end technologies for distribution. In some cases, in different industries like software industries, according to Mr. Tom Put, it's called front end. It can also be called front end. Okay, so that is a summary of the technological fit technological fit is a part of the resource fit, but I just pick up the technology because it's important. Do you have any questions? No?
Professor,
Yes, Mr. Intapada?
I have one question.
Yes, please.
In the trend of the EV car is
Yes.
now is come,
Yes.
and in the future maybe the engine is have to disappear for the engine.
Exactly. Yes.
And the whole of the supply chain for the produce the engine maybe have disruption from the EV car, and how can they survive in the future? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for the questions. Yes, that is a big threat for the suppliers of the components, because if the supplier produce the parts of the engine, in the future, they are not necessary. So now what many suppliers have been working is to look at what kind of parts is necessary in EV. In EV, of course, there's the battery, there's the motor, and there are some other components. And consider using the technology they already have